EMF snowfall. Unc.
Yeah,
I asked Unc if he was gonna start wearing it. He said, "Nah, man, fuck nah, that be I'm holding it down." I think I should have him on the show, Unc.
Oh, my cousin?
No, hell no. Unc actually my favorite character in Snowfall. I feel like his character more real because he remind me of them this from the 80s. Family, nah, these ain't no African robotic shit. Don't hit me like that, man. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. I heard some wild stuff about that, brother. So listen, man, I'm on my way to the gym. Shout out Yusuf, I see you. I'm on my way to the gym, and then I'm headed to Oakland. It's a workshop, so we streaming it everywhere. It's just we shooting it in Oakland. So at the end of the day, you can also be there as well. I don't know what's up with people that like they don't understand technology. Like we don't ever have to not be in the room when we got technology. Sometimes we think like we in the 70s and the 60s or the 80s. Like only those who are in the room get to be there. If you believe something is beneficial towards your life, then you got to make sure that, you feel me, you there to be able to receive that information so you can get whatever reward comes along with it. Me, myself, I ain't missing out on nothing, right? Shout out to Marketing Kings in the building. So it's going to be powerful. Yeah, it's going to be good. The VIP mixture, y'all should be receiving all the information and everything. Shout out to Frank from CNBC. Listen, man, I was utilizing OpenAI yesterday and some ChatGPT, and I was doing some interesting research yesterday. And I was just thinking about how powerful it is as a resource and a tool, but how unfortunate it is that most people don't have critical thinking skills, which will allow you to be able to use it at a higher manner. Now, Luna AI had just reported on data that OpenAI put out about the jobs that will be lost because of AI. Right now, one of the jobs they say is going to be obliterated is blockchain developers, because AI is going to be able to build it much faster and much better, right? And the same thing, I believe, just coders, period, is that's going to be a lost art. Like we at this point, and I talked about this probably 2 years ago, just because I seen where things were headed. I was talking to Idris, and he put a bug in my ear one time, and he was like, "Keys, you're already a designer." He said, "You don't need to be a coder. You're a designer. You're a creator." And by that, he was basically saying it's the ideas, right? That's the value. It's the ability to generate good ideas, critical thinking skills. That's the key. You understand me? And so I thought that was powerful, because we were talking about generative design, the ability to collaborate with the machine to produce. And it was no longer on man to design the world. It's man and machine. So, you know, whether it's cybernetics, whether it's transhumanism, right? I believe we already there anyway, because there are certain things that we rely on technology for, right? Like when we want to search things, we don't look up books, right? We go to our phone and we look at Google. That's already collaboration. When we want to remember things, we put it in our phones to store in that memory bank rather than our minds, and it's not a bad thing at all. And the reason I say that is because your brain is for generating ideas, not so much as keeping ideas, right? So we are great generators of ideas, but we forget, right? Like 90% of the things that we think about. How many ideas that you've had that you could not recall in detail today? So, you know, in the BWO, one thing we was teaching about the second brain system of capture all of your ideas so that you can go back to it at any point in time. And this increases your intelligence just by being able to keep your own ideas, right? And keep your mind, right, in balance. But, you know, critical thinking is the key right now. Like being able to think is the key, right? So, you know, my formula, it is artificial intelligence plus natural intelligence equals enhanced intelligence, right? And also during this time, you have to have great emotional intelligence, right? So eliminating your attachment, right, from, society's reactive programming, right? Because most of the things in the world are created and generated to program ideas, thoughts, emotions, feelings, and desires into the human mind and into society. So if we look at, most people should stop smoking weed. See, the thing about the weed industry, of course, is based on capitalism. And around the weed industry, everybody's going to tell you to smoke, right? Because they want to make more money off of you. So then we was taught that weed makes you more creative. And then we find out weed don't actually make you more creative. It just makes you feel creative. Now, nobody's going to go back and talk about that. Weed does decrease your memory. But ain't nobody go talk about that when they talk about smoking weed. Weed can increase, right, anxiety. Tucky Blunt, I know you got the blunts for sale, but I'm just giving you the science, right? While smoking weed can decrease testosterone in men. Now this is not something I'm making up. So if you can go disprove this science, I, invite you to. Please make a video and give a breakdown. What is the side of the medicinal side of cannabis is the cannabinoid, which is the CBD. But weed can increase, right, and exacerbate certain mental illnesses and issues within people, right? So you can have split personality issues and bipolarism and schizophrenia and smoke weed, right? And it can enhance that, because what it does is while you smoke weed, you feel like it's suppressing it, right? But you actually never dealing with it. So in your sober state, you become a different person. So there's many people I know that off weed, they cool as hell, like their mind is clear. Then when they start smoking, I notice a bipolar split in their personality, right? And it's been proven that weed can increase anxiety. So people end up smoking weed to try to decrease the anxiety, not realizing the very thing that they're using is actually creating an increase in anxiety. But it's making you feel like it's not there for a moment, right? And this will create over dependency and over reliance, right, on smoking weed. So, and that's a good case. So if everybody reacts differently based on the cannabinoid system, but everybody don't react differently, a mass general population reacts the same because the body is generally the same, right? Within everybody, there's a few different customizable differences within people, but the way chemical reactions happen within the body are similar to the same, right? Now, Dr. Wesley has a great book on the chemicalization effect of marijuana that I suggest to everybody read, right? I mean, read, I said weed. I suggest everybody read. But I've never met a man or a woman, right, who smoked weed and they became better. I just never met that in my life, right? So for me, if you got a habit that's not making you greater and better, right, then what is it doing for you? You know what I'm talking about? So that's all, everybody can do whatever they want to, but you have to know when you're programmed to do it, right? And it becomes such a social thing, right? Rather than, a person may smoke a blunt once in a while, you feel me? Now, people got to smoke it every single day. So anything you depended on, right, you addicted to. And some people can't stop if they wanted to. And not only just because of the biological effects that it has, but more so the social effects that a lot of people's relationships are connected to smoking, right? So you get around, what you doing, bro? Let's smoke. You know what I'm saying? What we got going on? Let's smoke. You outside, people light up the blunt, y'all walk away, y'all smoke, y'all talk, y'all bond over weed. You feel me? So that's what it is. So somebody say weed helps. What does weed help? That's the question I want to know. What does it help? Like, if you're not great enough to be able to deal with reality without weed, then you're not great. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all ain't had a high level conversation. Y'all just have high conversations. Ain't talking about nothing. And it makes you feel like it's deep, but it's not actually deep. So I'm not saying you got to stop smoking weed, but I'm just saying look at the reality of all things. It's like liquor. Liquor is a natural depressant. So if you over depend on anything, you're addicted to it, and it's a weakness. It's not a strength. That's it. So, I understand we live at this time in reality to where human beings are fed based on their desires, right? And it gets people to smoke. And during this time, like somebody said, it helps you deal with reality. How? Did it give you more money? Did it make you more powerful? Did it increase your ownership? Did it create better relationships within your life? Did it help the family bonds? Did it change reality? You can't deal with reality, right, unless you learn how to master yourself. Because that's what it is. It's easier for me to deal with a person that's smoking all the time and master them versus a person that's sober-minded and have full control of their mind, their vices, their ideas, their desires, their feelings. I'm just saying, so some of y'all high right now, and I ain't trying to blow your high, but I'm just helping you think. When we go into, like, if everybody knows this, and I know that's why, they don't be inviting me to certain things. I just like saying the truth on things. You feel me? Like, I've seen weed do more harm than help. That's it. Like, take the CBD, the cannabinoid, and utilize the health. But the moment you put fire to a chemical, right? The moment you put fire to it, it changes the chemical structure and the reaction of it. So that's the issue, is that we smoke weed, right? Ancients didn't smoke it the way people smoke it today. And it's not even the same weed. People was getting so goddamn, they wasn't getting as high as y'all getting today. They wasn't smoking the same thing. Y'all got cookies and rock. This shit damn near crack. Somebody said I didn't crack do more harm to help. Duh, that ain't the statement. I don't think nobody ever thought that crack was good for you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the bigger issues, is that we like to get high. THC is the component that's going to get you high. The cannabinoids is the component that's going to help with the anti-inflammation. It can be a natural regenerative, right? So, you got to understand the differences of what you're doing, man. So, yeah, when you put the fire, shout out to Mike Rashid in the building, when you put the fire to it, you feel me, that's when it makes a change. So the smoke inhalation is the difference between the natural derivative of CBD and taking the health components of weed, or marijuana, I should say. So, that's not to discount the plant, but most of y'all don't have any knowledge on herbs. You think the benefits of, herbal medicine stopped at cannabis? You know how many plants that are in the world? You got mushrooms that you can use, lion's mane, chaga, right? Reiki. What's my favorite one? The one they just made the show about, man. Damn, I forget the name at the moment. But yeah, I would rather you use mushrooms, and I ain't even talking about just the psychedelic mushrooms, because some of you all could probably benefit from low doses of microdosing, right, over a controlled period of time, like, once every 2 months maybe, or 3 months, or a trip every year versus weed. And the reason I say that is because it really helps you detach from reality and reset the brain as a therapy. Yeah, cordyceps. So what I'm saying is, look at your behavior, man. Think about it as this point. If it increases, it can have an increase on stress, decreased memory, decreased testosterone rates. You understand me? These are not good things. And it can help exacerbate, mental health from experience. I used to sell weed. I used to smoke weed. I was the best drug dealer. I mean, weed dealer. I ain't gonna call myself a drug dealer. I was the best weed dealer on the block. Ain't that right, Steve? He sleep. He probably high. What up, Mike?
What's good, baby? That's what it is.
Man, blessings and
in abundance.
Yes, sir. What's your pick? Shrooms or weed?
Neither. Oh, okay. My pick in terms of what though?
I would say a lifestyle enhancing um, a
And
lifestyle
it would
enhancing
be
tool.
psilocybin. And reason being is because I understand the
Right.
mechanism of that compound as well as cannabis. And cannabis inherently, I know people love it, but it is a depressant, right? It depresses the nervous system, and I need mine to be on point. You know what I'm saying? Whereas psilocybin, it doesn't really have an effect on the nervous system. It binds to the two-way serotonin receptors, which inherently makes one happy, creative, reflective, things of that nature. So I think that would be a more beneficial one. And like you were saying earlier, there's a lot of data on it helping people with depression, PTSD, um, people who are not responsive to like antidepressant drugs and stuff like that. That's what psychedelics was used for. You know what I'm saying? So, to help people with that. And the crazy thing about it, the reason why it's not all the way in big pharma yet is because when they would do therapy with somebody with like LSD or psilocybin, it's like 2 deep sessions, and they good for 6 months. Whereas big pharma, you need them pills every day.
Yeah.
You run out more. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't
Right.
that.
Right. Right. But that's the thing about I say people who smoke marijuana. There's no controlled scheduling of like testing themselves to see like I smoke one day. Okay, is there benefits of I feel better for the next week? No, that's not what's happening. So it's the same thing. Like nobody drinks
Right.
liquor and
Yeah.
expect to benefit from it, right? So alcohol itself can be a natural disinfectant, right? Like you can use it as a pain suppressant, right? But that doesn't mean you smoke social. I mean, you drink socially and affect benefits from it. So what we talk about is the THC, which is the component of people like to feel high, right? 99% of people are not smoking for any health reason whatsoever. They doing it socially so that they can feel high. That's it. And so the science to you all don't even matter. So you shouldn't even bring up the science because that ain't the reason you smoking in the first place.
Right.
They got nothing to do with no studies, no THC, no receptor binding, none of that. you you just want to get high. Only time you bring that up is when somebody try to say something. You try to
Right.
remember an
They
article you heard.
got you. Nah, it's real, man, and it's like it's somewhat of an escape, like cannabis. And I just never had that. And look, no knock to it. You know what I mean? And I know people gonna be they
Yeah,
gonna
that's
say
what I'm
like
saying. You can do whatever you want.
it's
Like
natural
that's
from the
your life.
earth, but so is cocaine, like so is heroin, like all these things is natural. You know what I'm saying? Mean that it's
Yeah,
beneficial. But look, for those who can take it and still be productive, kudos. That's not my thing, but I do.
right.
But to play God's advocate for some of the people that do take it for therapy, they do take it for pain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, it's a suppressant of pain. It's like weed is like
True.
a band-aid because it doesn't cure anything. And I think that's the thing. Like you can smoke weed for 20
That's
plus
right.
years and
So
nothing is cured.
I want to address something somebody
And
said. They
so it's
said
like
it suppresses stress. We should not suppress stress. We deal with stress. People that can't handle
right,
stress are weak people. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta learn how to deal with stress properly. You feel me? You can't.
right. And that's why after you sober and how it comes down, you have more stress and more anxiety, right? Because it's suppressing it. You know what I'm saying? You're not dealing with the cause and the root of it. So therefore, these reasons why you smoke are also the reasons why you continue to have the
All
same
right.
problems because you're not dealing with the root of it. You're constantly trying to suppress it, right? And so nothing changes unless you go through the process, right? Of okay, what is the process? What for me, I always have to find the root of my stress or anxiety. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm spending too much blue light. I got too many problems going on. I haven't spent enough time in nature. You know what I'm saying? I ain't stopped to meditate. I ain't eat right or work out. So I'm going to go to the root of these things. I'm not going to say, damn, I'm a little stressed. Let me smoke. Because that just go suppress it. And then when the high comes down, damn, I'm still stressed. Why? Because I suppressed it for just a mild period of time. So you got to deal with reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. We are dealing with a time where, you know, it's about resilience, right? This is a time of like the prevailing emotions is like there's anxiety in the air because of everything that's going on, right? And so what you want to do is increase your emotional resilience, right? So that you can decrease your anxiety and your stress. So it's going to take more things to even make you stress or give you anxiety, right? But if you never learn how to deal with the lightweight things, then you can never pick up heavyweight things, right? So that goes to the concept of working out. When I go to the gym, at first, I wasn't hitting the place that I was hitting, right? And then I had to go from mild to heavy to help build up my muscles. So next time I go in there, I can increase the load. And I need that load just to feel my body to feel the stress to grow and have hypertrophy, right? So a lot of you all aren't growing because you're not utilizing, you know, or going through the process of dealing with the stress the right way to build yourself up. So now lightweight things are constantly stressing you out, right? And you're supposed to be on heavyweight things by this time. Me, only it gotta be heavyweight to even get through my aura field. You know what I'm
But
saying? Like
it's even like
it's
bro,
different.
you hitting something powerful, a powerful nail on the head. It's like this. Life is literally what you make it, right? You will encounter stress. Here's the thing. Me and my brother Emil was talking about this the other day. He said, do I think that society's getting weak and we've fallen off and declining because we have so much luxury, we have so much technology, we have things making life easy? I said, no, I don't think so. I'm gonna tell you why. It's always only a small group of people that advances things, right? And that small group of people understands this. We have cell phones. We don't have to memorize things. We have Uber Eats. You don't got to go hunt. We got all of these things that makes life easy. And that's the nature of man. We will always find ways to make life easier. If we didn't, we still live in forests and trees and shit. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that, we have to counterbalance that by doing things like going to the gym, doing things like fasting, doing things like meditating, reading, we have to keep ourselves strong and powerful so that we don't get weak and atrophy spiritually, physically, you know what I'm saying? All these different ways, you know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people are going to fall off, and it goes back to this universal law, this survival of the fit, you know what I'm saying? So not everybody's going to make it.
Right.
Information is people like yourself, people like myself, people like Trappers, a lot of people all around the world giving the information on what people need to be doing to counterbalance the lushness, the luxury. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so we got
Right. And, and I want people to understand, like, if you like believe in plant medicine, understand that there are tens of thousands of millions of plants out there. Why stop at just weed? And when you want to understand the true miracle of Mother Nature, right? And so you may be stressed because your testosterone levels is low, right? Right. So what are you doing towards that, right? Like men can't focus when we have low testosterone levels. It increases our anxiety. It's harder for us to think and generate ideas. So, and then weed decreases testosterone while smoking it,
fact.
right? So
They don't
your
want to hear
levels
that though.
decrease.
They don't want to.
So they don't want to hear that. So you become, you know, quote unquote, less of a man, if you will, right? While you participating, you come on, y'all know cats do not become more manlier while they on weed. They be all soft hand.
They want to eat, lay
Boy, I
down and
tell
eat.
you, man, cats be hobby. Yeah, you become like the spoiled girlfriend. I don't want to do
Listen,
nothing.
bro.
Yeah.
The
So
most technologically advanced thing we have on this planet is right here. Our mind and our
right.
perspective
I'm gonna
is
check.
the antidote, is the cure to any disease. Right here. But people gotta use it. We gotta use it. Nobody's using it. Nobody's reading. Nobody's using Chat GPT. We got so many resources at our disposal. So many
Man,
resources at our disposal.
crazy.
There's no reason for anybody to, like, so much knowledge. You should not be sick. You should know how to heal yourself. You should know how to keep yourself in a preventative our space to not get sick. You feel me? Anything we want, we can do. We're the
Right.
alchemists. You know what I'm saying? And so much every day we got more information at our disposal.
And people keep talking about you disagree. It don't. You can disagree with truth all day long. It doesn't change the facts. You understand? You only disagree because of a cognitive bias, right? You don't want it to be true. So therefore, you want to do what they do, which is called ignore, which is the substance of ignorance, right? I will ignore the facts, so therefore I can live in my ignorance because it feels blissful to you. Not knowing on the other side of accepting the truth is true enlightenment. And then you go feel even better, but you never felt this good. And so you maintain 50%. You maintaining 60%, but we trying to help you get to 100%. That's different. You know, like I ain't got to smoke weed for shit. And I'm sure my if what you talk about stress,
Right.
my shit probably 100% higher than yours, but my
Right.
emotional resilience is 1,000% higher.
Look, people gotta embody
Like,
this, understand this. Like things that men, fella, I'm talking to the men right now. Divorce yourself from the notion that you need happiness, fun, thing. That's basic thing. Focus, that's it. And that should give you bliss and joy, right? Because if you have a life of like fun, I need to feel good, you're gonna be soft. Because most like man, you're gonna be soft. Like I've been in a lot of situations where it's like it is what it is. Let's deal with it. Or other people crying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just broken down. You never want to be in that space. You gotta divorce yourself from the idea of like, I need this to make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all of that shit. You know what I mean? We gotta be sturdy. You gotta be sturdy.